Let's go. Welcome to the stream. Just going to be recapping last night's fights, UFC. Also came across a great promotion in Czech Republic called Octagon, spelt with a K. Great promotion. Had some banger fights. Upcoming fighter Cater, Lons Cater. He looks the fucking bollocks. I think he fights at featherweight or lightweight. He looks good. He's undefeated. His only defeat was injury. He broke his leg. He's I think he's like 11-1. He's phenomenal fighter. Talks the talk, walks the walk. Entertaining, flashy. Yeah, he's great. Calling out every fucker. One of the big promotions needs to sign this guy up. He's young. I think he's only like 24, 25, something like that. We'll get the fight card up. It was a bit of a weird one last night. I enjoyed some of the fights. Some of the fights were a bit shit, stalling. I'm not one of these, they're just hugging kind of guys, but I like grappling when it's offensive grappling, when they're going for things, when they're transitioning, when if they try and wrestle and they work in the wrestling. What I don't like is two fighters just standing up at the side of the cage, clinched, not throwing punches, not working anything, and just static in motion. Same when they're on the ground, if they're not really trying anything, landing shots, they not transitioning, both fighters are stalling. That's boring to watch. Not interested. Not against grappling, just don't like stalling. That's the thing. So let's pull up the fight card. UFC Vegas 83. We had some good knockouts, some good finishes. We'll get it up on Tapology. Yeah, the first fight was Talita Alencar versus Rayan Amanda. I had Talita in this one just because she was every grappler. I thought she'd use her grappling skills, but it was quite an even fight. I think it was one apiece going into the third, and Alencar just pipped it out. Not a great fight. Alencar struggled to get her on the floor. She did get a few takedowns. Let's see if we click on it. I think it should pull up the stats. I don't think it has the stats for it. Let's see if we can find the stats. UFC Vegas 83 stats. UFC stats. Got my coffee. Yeah, we can get it up here. So Yeah, in the first one, it was Talita Alencar versus Rayan Amanda. Talita just picked it out. It was, like I say, it was a bit of a boring one. Yeah, struggled to get it down. And Rayan just couldn't land as much on the feet. I think she tired Amanda in the third. And Alencar just picked that one out. It was a split decision. I think, yeah, it went how it was. Next fight, great fight. Tetsuro Taira versus Carlos Hernandez. Tetsuro just came out and absolutely dominated. Ended up winning in the second round by KO. And as you can see, 33 strikes and to 2. It was just absolute domination. Next fight was Santos versus Egger. Again, this was a bit of a boring fight. Went to unanimous decision for Santos. I was saying that Egger is like 34, 35 and Santos is like 23. But they both got the same sort of experience. Santos ended up just pipping that one as well. It was a bit of a back and forward one, but yeah, Egger just was on the back foot for a lot of the fight, and Santos just took it in the end. Costa versus Garcia. I had Costa going into this one, but Steve Garcia just came out and absolutely fucking smashed Costa apart. First round, Costa was this was one of the shit fights up until the KO. The first round, Costa was like grappling, trying to. He got the clinch up against the cage. They were just boring, doing nothing for ages. The first round was entirely up against the cage, and it was just Costa try and take him down. Not much happening. Didn't really get any takedowns. Got him down. Garcia was straight back up. He went for the body slam. He had his hands locked. He had hooks in. He couldn't get he struggled to get the second leg hook in, which never amounted to anything. And he should have broke away and gone for the legs. He should have wrestled a bit more. He just stayed in the clinch with the body lock and kept trying to climb on his back for the entire thing and just humping him. It was shit to watch. There's no way to put it. It wasn't grappling. It was stationary. It was static. Garcia wasn't going to give up position for advance anything because he was struggling to break the hands apart. I don't think he went for break the hands apart because when fighters go for break the hands apart, they end up getting dumped on the floor. So I think he was trying to keep his balance. He wasn't really trying to break the hands much. And Costa, that's why they were in a bit of a stalemate because Garcia didn't want wrist position by trying to break the hands, and Costa wasn't willing to, unlock the body lock and try anything else. He didn't break apart. He didn't go for the legs, the single. He didn't try advance the position at all, really. He went for a slam, picked him up, but he couldn't finish the slam. Garcia got his balance. And then, yeah, that's how round one ended. Garcia went to his corner. Greg Jackson was in his corner. Mustra had a bit of a bollocking because he came out round 2 and absolutely put it on Costa, rocked him, and just finished it up with fucking some huge elbows. Absolutely smashed him. And then in the next fight, we went to Park versus Ross. Shannon Ross, You got to give it to the fighters who've got all art and not much skill. Shannon Ross really tried to impose himself in the fight. He's a bit like Volkanovski. He looks a bit like him and fights a bit like him, except not as skilled. He kept getting caught by Park on the way in. He was rushing in. He was trying to close the distance. Ended up getting knocked out in the second round, and Park won that one. Kevin Doucet versus Son Keenan. Great fight. It was a bit of there was no grappling in this one. It was a kickboxing standoff. Neither man wanted to back off. It was pretty much in the center of the cage the entire time. Back and forward. Doucet was just getting off a bit more, well, a lot more, and he turned it up in the later rounds, in the third round, and just teed off on Keenan. Keenan almost, the first round was pretty even. However, Keenan was wearing the damage a lot more. He had the swelling straight off after the first round. Gutierrez just looked fresh after the first round, composed, and he just gradually turned up the striking, and just landed more and outstruck him. It was just it was an interesting fight to watch, because I think in the second or third round, Gutierrez went for a takedown, but it was more, I think he was just throwing it out there to sort of like make Keenan like think a bit more and, you know, worry about the takedown, but he didn't really do much, and the rest of the fight continued as a kickboxing fight. Quite interesting. And then so Gutierrez ended up taking that one on decision. Next fight was I had Gutierrez in that one. Muniz versus the Iron Turtle Park. Again, I had Park, the Iron Turtle, in this one, middleweight. Ended up going to a split decision because, again, this was a heavy grappling fight. Not much strikes in the entire fight. What happened is Muniz took Park down, and he just grinded on him. He didn't really land any strikes. He was looking for positions and didn't get anything off. And then Park would reverse the position in the later seconds of the round, and he would show more striking. He was attempting to pass. He was attempting to land. He was throwing everything into it when he was in the more advantageous positions. I would have given it Park just purely for the damage. Muniz sat on him for a long time against the fence, on the ground, on his back, but didn't do anything with the position. Park, that's why it ended up going to split, I guess. Park landed more shots. It was just, for me, it was Park. Like, I don't think you can score it to a fighter who does nothing with the position, even if he has more control time. So I would have given it Park in that one. Elliott versus Sumudaerji. Just world class from Tim Elliott. He came in and put on a performance in round one. Just came out, grappled, like he set up the takedown quite well. Got Sumudaerji down, and ended up working into the position. Got the arm triangle. You could see he was working for it, and ended up sinking that in. And it was a deep submission. Tim Elliott was throwing it out. When he got it, you could see Sumudaerji was gurgling blood. Like, at one point, like, blood just spat out of his mouth as he was like tightening the choke. Don't think he was out. Was it Abe Dean who was reffing that? Shook his hand to test, see if he was, if he was still awake. Don't think he was out of it. He didn't really respond with when he shook his arm. Normally fighters like thumbs up or whatever, but when the fight was stopped, Tim Elliott let go. Sumudaerji was still conscious, so I don't think he was out. Good stoppage though. I think he would have gone out. So yeah, it's one of those. Next fight was Nasrat versus Mullarkey. Good fight. Just Nasrat caught him and rocked him. Rock'em sock'em robots. Again, this is one of them. Another ref could have go a bit longer. Nasrat dropped Mullarkey. Mullarkey ended up getting back up. He was still dazed, rocked. He was landing uppercuts. He dropped again, and the ref stopped it. It's an harsh one because he dropped, but for me, he was still conscious. He had taken a lot of damage, so maybe that plays into it. It's an odd one. Some refs could have let it go. Some, with what's been happening over the last few weeks, obviously some fights have gone a bit too far. But yeah, it's one of those that you're not going to argue too much over. I think it could have gone on just a bit longer. Don't know if Mullarkey would have recovered, but I didn't think he was completely out of it. And depends what I'd let it go just a few seconds more to see what Nasrat would have done if Mullarkey would have gone to his back and tried to stay in guard. If he'd have tilted up and Nasrat had landed and one more shot, I would have stopped it. But yeah, I don't. If he'd have gone to his back and managed to, get his feet between the two fighters, like got his feet up on Nasrat, then there's a case there that he could have continued. But it's not. You're not going to argue over that. He was rocked. He was dazed. He was fucked. Next fight was Anthony Smith versus Khalil Rountree. Spoke about this before. Khalil Rountree has got some of the hardest punches known to man in the UFC. Don't know if they've tested the power behind this man, but you can hear it. Like, he's one of those. He's got raw power. Like, raw power. It's the kind of power that deafens the room. Like, you hear it. You hear the impact. It's scary, and he's a scary guy. Like, he comes across as such a nice, chilled guy, but he can turn this violence on like in a heartbeat in seconds. And that's chilling. That's absolutely chilling. To knock out Anthony Smith in the way he did, that's impressive. It was quite an even fight up until then, and then he just fucking caught him, and you don't want to be caught by Rountree. He's a finisher. He's not going. He's going to put it. If he sees you rocked, he's going to punish you. Don't think you're coming. It's not one of them where you're coming back where there's a possibility. If he rocks you, you're fucked. Like, he's going to pounce on you. Some fighters try to be measured, but Khalil just takes your fucking head off. And then Yudong versus Chris. Much of the same. Went to a decision, and Yudong ended up edging out the win. Let's have a look where Khalil Rountree goes from here now, because Khalil was ranked 11 going into this, and let's have a look. UFC rankings. He's going to move up. He's going to move up to about 8th in the division now. And start getting, hopefully getting a top 6 contender now. There's the Johnny Walker fight there is for him. Rakic, Krylov. Obviously, was it Jan? Jan's out now. I don't know how long he's out for. But the Jan versus Rakic fight was cancelled. So that opens the door for possibly Rountree to get that fight. Possibly Walker. I don't know if Walker's going to sit out for a bit. No, Johnny Walker's booked, isn't he? Johnny Walker is booked with Ankalaev for the rematch. Yeah, he's booked. That's booked for January. So that rematch is in the bags. I think a lot of the light heavyweight division is booked for fights at the moment. I did find something. Was it? I think it was on Wikipedia. Let's see. Wikipedia. Light heavyweight rankings. It shows you what fights are booked. Quite like this. This is makes it easier. Yeah, so Ankalaev versus Walker is booked. Rakic was supposed to fight Jan. That's cancelled now. So if Rountree is looking to get back in the mix, like pretty quick, there's Krylov and Rakic available, and don't think Yuri will fight that far down. Possibly Yuri versus Rakic and Krylov versus Rountree, or Rakic versus Rountree. Odemia's looking for a fight. Span's looking for a fight. So he hasn't fought any of them. The Johnny Walker rematch has got to happen at some point because they're two bangers. So it's them two. You've got Ryan Spann. He's not fought Rountree. Odemir. Krylov. Depends what Rountree wants to do now. I think, obviously, Rountree's got a big following, so I think he could go for an higher ranked opponent rather than a lower ranked opponent in Odemir or Spann. I'd like to match him up against Rakic. That's the fight that I'd be choosing. Rakic versus Rountree. Depending on how he's feeling, I'd probably book it quite soon. Get in the mix. Coming off a big win. Keep the ball rolling. Depends who's fight ready. I mean, if Khalil's got no injuries, yeah, go for the Rakic fight. I think he could turn it round for January. I think he could. He's got a month, exactly a month. It's just over a month, sorry, on the Strickland versus Duplessis card. Where's that? It's in Canada. So it's not like there's a big flight to Europe or Asia or Abu Dhabi, any of the other ones. So yeah, I'd like to see him come back early. I think Tatsuro Taira was calling out Makayev last night. He's not going to get Makayev. I mean, he's not even ranked yet. If we have a look, and Makayev is booked for the Perez fight. So if Makayev ends up beating Perez, he moves up to 7. Makayev's not going one fight down to fight Tatsuro Taira, who's fucking... He's not even in the top 15 yet. He might break into the top 15. The Tatsuro fight will come. I think that'll be an amazing fight. I'd rather wait to match them up when they're in the top 5. And Makayev will get Perez next. And then he might take the winner of... Okay, when's that fight? That's March. And Caper's fighting in January. So is the 5 and 6 are fighting. So Cape and Mateus Nicolau. Kaikora France hasn't got anyone booked. So the winner of Cape and Nicolau, they'll probably look to match up with Kaikora, unless Kaikora is willing to wait and book against the winner of Brandon and Alabazi. They're fighting in February. Roy Val's fighting Pantoja next week. Flyweight's a lot of movement in the next couple of months. I think if Makayev beats Perez, he's got to be looking at a top 5. Maybe the winner or loser of the Cape fight. Depends if they're willing. They might book straight onto the next fight against Kaikora, who's coming off a loss. That was it. When did he last fight? back in June. So Kaikora must be itching get back in. Could be nearly a year until Kaikora fights again. Unless he's back up for any of these big fights that are coming up in the next few months. Where does Nasrat go from here? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the lightweights. So Nasrat is on three fight win streak. He dropped out of the rankings after losing to Dan Hooker and Bobby Green. He's working his way back up. This might see him move into the 15, 14. Bobby Green's just lost, so he might sneak back in the rankings or just be outside of the rankings. He might be looking for the Bobby Green rematch. He's only 28. He might be looking for match up with a ranked opponent next. Drew Dober's already booked. He wants to avoid Benoit Saint Denis. That's not a great matchup. RDA. I mean, the lightweight division at the moment is fucking stacked, and there's no fights booked. I thought Islam had already booked his fights. Islam not booked then? I thought they'd set up Charles too. Well, that'll be announced shortly. Islam versus Charles 2. I don't know how long Charles is out for. Let's have a look. Does it say? It was just a cut. So nothing mad, nothing crazy. Once that heals, they'll probably reboot that. Or Justin Gaethje fight. Apparently, Dustin is fighting. Who did they announce Dustin against? I had some news about this. Let's have a look. Where are we? Fazeev. Dustin Poirier versus Fazeev is apparently booked. That's on the cards. Chandler McGregor. Arman's got to be looking for a top contender now. Maybe he's going to look for the Justin Gaethje fight. I know Justin's back up for. They're on about Justin being back up for the Charles and Islam fight. So that'll probably. Once that's booked, Justin's probably going to hold off just in case and get training for that. Arman's going to be sitting out for a while if Dustin is fighting for Steve, unless he ends up fighting down. He's not going to get a top rank 5 anytime soon. Chandler's still holding off from McGregor. I don't know. How long they're going to wait. They probably got cut off, and then if not, maybe he'll take the Arman fight. I mean, it'd be a tough pill swallow going from the McGregor payday to fighting Arman. Tim Elliott, what's next? Fought Sumudaerji. Obviously just lost to Makayev. So it's a nice bounce back for Tim Elliott. Nice bounce back. That'll keep him in the top 10 rankings. Don't know if he's going to move up. I think he'll just stay at 10. He's ranked 11 on here. Where's yeah? So he fought one down. So I can't imagine. I can't imagine there'll be any movement on that. I feel like there should be because he dominated Sumudaerji, but it's hard to how do you move up in the rankings when the guy above you just beat you? And yeah, I don't think there'll be movement. Obviously, Mikhail versus Perez. Tim Elliott might be looking for the Schnell fight. Schnell's not booked. Matt Schnell. I like Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell versus Tim Elliott. Yeah. Why the fuck not? I think it would be a war. In fact, that's the fight I'm going with because that would be an absolutely fucking amazing fight. Yeah, so we'll pair Tim Elliott with Matt Schnell. And let's have a look. Kevin Ducey. Where does he go from here? Only his second fight in the UFC. But he's on a 5-fight win streak. Okay. Where was he? 64. So Kevin Ducey. Let's have a look. Fucking Larkin moved to. Okay. We've got Laziz, who's 2 for 2 in the UFC. And maybe a Danny Roberts fight unless he's being cut. Well, Gabe Green. Gabe Green's coming off a loss. He's not matched up with anyone. So we've got Gabe Green, Laziz. I think the game won't propel Ducey quite a bit though. So let's have a look in the top 50. Trevin Giles. Let's have a look. Okay. Trevin might be. Oh no, Trevin's matched up already back in February. I was going to say, yeah, Trevin would have been a good fight. It's just beat Keenan Song, who's 49. So let's move way up. He's not fought since 2022. Okay, we got MVP is too big of a name. Okay, we got Tim Means. He's coming off a win. And we've got Nico Price. Last fought against Robbie Lawler back in July. He's got some grappling events coming up. And we've got Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's coming off a loss against Kevin Holland back in April. He did have a fight booked against Daniel Rodriguez, but that was cancelled. Rodriguez tested positive for Australian. Oh, Danny, man. Blowing. So, yeah. I think I'd put him against Ponzinibbio. Good matchup there. Good matchup for him. Yeah, Ponzinibbio is ranked 35. Because after beating Song, he'll probably move up to 49, 48. And you can jump up again. I think they're going to want Propel, the Frenchman. Give him a bit of a boost. He's got a good striking style. Stiff, doesn't like to back up. Yeah, I think in those bigger fights, we'll see him like knocking people out. It's what the UFC want. They want those exciting fights. They want. Okay. Why is it showing other ones matched up? Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, so they're going to want those exciting fights. They're going to want someone who doesn't back up, someone who's not looking to grapple as much unless it's offensive grappling. Yeah, Juicy is going to get a massive push in the UFC. They're going to want propel some French fighters up into the higher ranks of the UFC. So when they put on the next French card, they're going to have a good card, a good well-rounded French card, a lot of French fighters. And we've got just having a look at this Canadian, Michael Mullarkey. He's fighting Neil Magny. He's 10-1 with one draw. His loss was against Akeem Dawodu. Having a bit of a shit time at least. Interesting one. Interesting that Magny's fighting so far down. That's on the January card, UFC 297. Interesting. Rank fit. I mean, he's taking a big risk there, fighting that far down. Maybe it was he just wanted to get a win back, bounce back quick, propel himself back up, get that win, and keep fresh, ready for top 15 ranked opponents.